Good evening, everyone. Today's session is about an introduction to title, abstract writing, paper writing, and presentation of the paper. This webinar is being conducted as a series of the virtual workshops that are being conducted as a part of introduction to paper presentation and publication. Why we are conducting this paper presentation and publication is because MJCT is conducting a student level conference on trends, technological challenges, and innovations in engineering. TTCIE 2021 on 2nd to 4th March 2021. So basically, with respect to it, already how to write an abstract, what is the importance of writing a paper, and all this have been discussed in the virtual workshop 1 and 2. So with respect to it, we have received so far 134 abstracts. Okay, so when we receive the abstract, first thing, important thing when it comes to a paper is about the title. So it's a very, very important aspect of any paper. So coming to the title, so abstract title or you can say a paper title. So for examples, you can see there are some example. Guess who's not coming to dinner? Evaluating online restaurant reservations for disease surveillance. This is something a paper. The content of the paper was about how to have with respect to the COVID, post COVID, when people come to the restaurant, what is that? Okay, how is the disease that can be spread and all that. The content of the paper was very good, but you can see the title how vague it is. And next, when we are saying interviewing developers, problems and alternatives to the c preprocessor, so such titles, though the content is good, will not attract the editor or the reviewer, and thereby they lose the horizon that it really, the impact that it can make. So that is lost when we are talking about the importance of the abstract title. So it is very, when we say title, it's a very important aspect with respect to any paper, because the title is the first thing that is gives the impression to the editors or the reviewers, because once you submit the paper, rather than that who are the ones who are submitting the paper, what is the work they have done and all that will be reviewed a later part. But first thing, when you are submitting any paper, be it a conference, journal or something, it is the title which is read first. With the title only, the impression of the complete paper is being evaluated. So it's very important to have the title written in a proper format. So because it is the title which is used, in the title, whatever terms you use it, that is the keywords that are being utilized in the title, that will be utilized in your search query. So whenever I want to do some paper, if I want to write a paper also, I'll do some research, right? As the term indicates, search is something. When it comes to writing a paper, research. Already things are this, you have searched it. Once again, searching when you are doing, it's the keywords of the title that will make a lot of impact. So it is important that you convey the information in a proper way. So the title should be in such a way that it captivates all the aspects of the study that you want to present in a paper. That is the importance of the abstract title, or I can say it is the importance of your title. So how should I write a title? Now when I want to talk about the title writing, it's not about just writing a paper, but it's very important, crucial to decide what should be the title of the paper. So when I want to start with the title of the paper, I have to ask few questions, make a note of the answers. So first thing is, you have to decide what is my paper all about, what I want to do. Is it a research paper or a review paper? Review paper means it's a collection of information of the existing techniques, information that is there. Or is it a research paper? Research paper is something for which you have already worked so far, and with respect to that, you are trying to present the results, discussions, and everything. So when it comes to a research paper, even for the research paper, you have to carry out a literature review. So after the literature review, you will be understanding what are the research gaps. So with respect to the research gap, whatever existing in the paper, that forms your problem definition. So with respect to it, you try to carry out your research work. So the first step you have to understand is, what is my paper about? Is it a research paper or a review paper? Accordingly, you will be writing your answer. Next thing, what techniques designs were used? If it is a research paper, with respect to your problem solution, you are using some methodology. So, with respect to it, what is that methodology, or what are the designs and all what have been discussed? You try to focus on that. Whereas, if it is a review paper, you'll be penning down what are the various techniques and all that you want to give a overall picture. So, when I talk about it, if I talk about any 3D printing technique, so 3D printing technique is not a new technique. It's not a new novel technique. It has been existing, but it has gained the pace over the time. So before that, what is that technique that was utilized? You should know the history of any process. Then what is the current trend and what could be the future of it? Okay, so previously it was the general, when we are talking about material deposition, solidification was done. Later it was like 3D printing. Then now when we are talking about the future, from any part of the world you want to fabricate that component. So in that case, I can use the IoT techniques. So you have to have it clear when it comes to a review paper. You have to give a clear things, like what are the techniques and designs that I'll be covering in that paper. So these are the questions you should initially ask before I start working on any paper, because as I start with the paper, accordingly the title will be coming out. Then in that area, who and what have they studied should be listed out, and what were the results. So these are the things if you have to jot down as answers for the questions. Next, from this you try to list the keywords. Okay, so what are the keywords I have used till now? I said, like, is it a review or a research paper? Then I have said, like, what is the history? What are the methodologies used? There are different techniques in it. Then what is the history and all that, present techniques, and what are the results that can be, that is, you will be having zero wastage, and it is a sustainable manufacturing, smart manufacturing technique. So all this, whatever answers you are jotting down with respect to these questions, you need to make a list of the all the keywords. Once the answers are there, this keywords not only help in deciding your title, but while writing your abstract also, with the abstract you are also asked to present the keywords. So there also they play crucial role. So title definition, when I'm giving a title, it not only helps in understanding what exactly I want to do it, but it also helps in me in framing the abstract, or anyone in framing the abstract, as well as listing the keywords. So once the answers are there, I have the keywords. Now I'll try to make a sentence out of these keywords. So whatever keywords have been listed, try to make sentence of it. Okay, so when I make a sentence, the next step is I have to delete all unnecessary repetitive words. Okay, but while removing this unnecessary or repetitive words from the answers and from the keywords that I've made for the sentence, the next step is I have to at the same time see that the link remains. Okay, what is the link? There should be a synchronous linking between, whether if it is a research paper, then in that case I have to specifically define what technique I am using, and accordingly what results have been obtained. So there should be a linkage. Whereas if I talk about a review paper, in that case my link will be it's a review paper that accordingly who have studied and what they have studied with respect to various techniques. Based upon them, based upon they study, what is the results that were obtained. So the link will be varying based upon what type of paper you are having. And while deletion, you should see that the link is not lost. Okay. And with respect to it, whatever unnecessary information is there with respect to in the title, just delete them. Okay. Once you delete all this, you have to start reworking on the title. Rephrasing of the title should be done with the leftover words. So these are the steps one need to follow when you are writing a title of a paper. So accordingly, in a general, I can say that a title should have a description about the topic, the method, the sample, the results of your study. Okay, it can be with respect to a research paper or a review paper. So the formula that should be followed when I'm giving a title: result A, whatever technique I'm using, study of that particular topic with respect to something else. It might be with respect to, for example, if I'm talking about in study of some IoT or AI based COVID study, if I'm trying to carry out, in that case, the result is that will be a statistical input as to how the COVID curve might be varying. So the result is to predict the variation of the patients with respect to time. The methodology can be a statistical methodology that I'm using. What is my study topic? The post COVID conditions. This is a study that is being carried out with respect to different class of people. Okay, it can be now in the sample, you have to be definite. When I say keywords, in the keywords, the sample is different age group. But when it comes to the title, I have to be specific. What is my sample size? That is, whether I'm considering the age old people, kids, or middle aged people, or the working class. So, all these are the things, the keywords after you jot down, then rephrasing, you can apply this formula to get the complete title. Because if the title is not good, ultimately the message cannot be conveyed to any editor or any reviewer who will be accepting your paper. Okay, at the first stage itself, it may turn out to be a rejection. Why we are doing all these exercises? We want our students to have an awareness about how they can proceed about the paper writing, because in today's world it's not just the academics but how you are coming up with your co-curricular activities. So as a part of co-curricular activities, it's important that you focus on this extra activities that can be added up to your resume, which will be helping you in developing your personality. Okay, so when I talk about the title, again important aspect is the number of words. I cannot, okay, I have done so much extensive work. So I want to put this word, that word, so that it gives the complete information. And whenever any word, anybody in the world type it, they should be getting my paper. In that case, I'll have maximum words. So which is again not realistic. So that's the reason whatever title you are giving, to have a realistic information, the title word should be 5 words, or it should be in a range from 5 to 15. But 15 is the maximum limit. Beyond that, it's like you're writing a history or a paragraph. Okay. So that's the reason your title should be very limited. Though some of the reviews of the abstracts have been received and they're asked to rephrase, for them, this is the best guidance. Please rewrite your title based upon your work. Okay. The shorter the title, better. That doesn't mean I just write IoT or just I write 4G or 5G. That does not convey what exactly I'm doing in that area. with respect to an IoT, what I am presenting? Is it the challenges that are there in the IoT field? Or if I talk about 5G, is it that I'm talking about the technologies? Or is it that how the phase shift can be done from 4G to 5G? That information conveying should be done completely from the title itself. So though it should be shorter, but should be able to convey the complete message. That is the importance of your title. Once the title is done, next step is your abstract. So when I say abstract, the abstract should be not a big. Some of the abstracts, some of the journals and all, they limit the abstract size to 300 words. So in 300 words means it's approximately I have to complete my abstract content within 6 to 7 lines or maximum 8 to 10 lines. So what is that I have to give in an abstract? Always an abstract should have a general introduction. General introduction means in what area you're working. Is it that you are working with the microprocessors? Okay. What is the role of the microprocessors? In general, you'll discuss. And with respect to that microprocessors, what is that you are trying to depict in your paper? Is it the evolution of it? What is the new techniques of it? What is that you are trying to describe should be presented in an abstract. So a general introduction will be one sentence or max two sentences. Okay. Basically, one sentence is ideal. Then description of the paper when I'm saying ideally it should be 2 to 3 lines, not more than that. What is the content that you're trying to present? Again, there should not be a same copy paste sentences. Whatever I'm describing in the introduction, literature survey, or in the body of the paper, that same sentence should not be repeated in my abstract. What is important is, I'm sorry, yeah, what is more important is how I present that. Okay, the description of the paper when I'm saying, so the description of the paper should be a rewrite phrase. It should be a summary of what is being presented in the complete paper, but again, there should not be repetition of the sentences. Okay, rephrasing, rewriting. This is possible when you start writing it. It's not just I'll do the copy paste work. Copy paste work is also should be avoided so as to avoid the plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism is equivalent to a legal action against you. So that's the reason whenever you write anything, it should be in your own sentences, be it your assignment or be it a paper. Okay, so that is the first general description. After that, what is that you have concluded from this paper? Okay, what is that you can infer from this paper? What are the results that you have drawn from this paper? Should be described in the 1 or 2 lines. In that 1 or 2 lines, if possible, you can also describe like so and so thing have been drawn with respect to, or so and so conclusion is drawn with respect to the work that has been presented in the paper, but still so and so work can be carried out further. That means an abstract in itself is like a complete paper which gives a summary. Like usually in your schooling days or in your childhood, you have learned, isn't it? The teacher tells you the complete story. After hearing the complete story, you are asked to give the what is the moral of the story. So similar way, as you are in an engineering level at a professional level, so what is expected from you is you have to have the paper is like a complete story. From that story, what is that moral drawn is what you are trying to give it in the abstract. Okay, so in this, as it is a technical document, so you start with the introduction, then what is the methodology you have followed. The next step is what is the conclusion that you have drawn from the paper, and what is the future scope of your paper. So in an all, you will be using 5 to 6 lines or 6 to 7 lines or max 10 lines, not beyond that. If it is a bigger para, then it's not an abstract. Abstract should be also crisp and very informative about what you want to present in the paper, because some of the conferences, standard conferences, international conferences and all that, they first ask for abstract only. So based upon how you present your abstract in the limited number of words that they are giving you, that shows the content of the person. So your title and abstract are the reflection of your work. So it's important that you focus on these 2 points much more. Okay. So after the abstract, as I said, along as you write the abstract, there are some critical words that you have used, or you can say they are the key words which will help you in framing your complete paragraphs. So those keywords will be the keywords that you'll be listing in the abstract. So which should be followed as a general principle. I hope I'm clear. Next, coming to the structure of the paper. So before I talk about the structure of the paper, as you are all aware, you have to submit the paper in the easy chair, okay, where you have submitted your abstract, and the format of the paper should be in IEEE format. Okay, so what is that IEEE format? I'll discuss about it once I discuss the structure of the paper. So when it comes to the structure of the paper, you can see that the first crucial point is the title, author, abstract, keywords. So this is the descriptive information that lets the readers search for an article. As I said, the title is the most crucial one. Okay. So as it's like it's an engine to start your, or it's a fuel to start your engine. Okay. So without the proper title, you cannot begin it. If you want to make a move, if you want to make a move from one room to other room, how will you make it? You have to open the doors. So the door to move from the academic world to a research world, you can have that moment if you try to follow the proper steps. And for that one, this platform is providing you the student level conference. So in that one, you have to have clear understanding about how to write a title, how should I write an abstract. After that, automatically you'll develop the sense of writing the complete paper. Because while writing the title itself, you have done your work about what is that you want to present in the paper, what are the techniques you want to follow, all that have been, all these aspects have been covered in that. Okay. So the first part of whatever is being said, that is when I'm saying the title, author, and all that, so this have been already covered and you have completed this aspect. You have crossed this stage. But at the same time, I suggest if you are not satisfied with your title or with your abstract, rewrite it and resubmit it. Okay, because this full length paper is the one which gives you the impression. Okay, in the proceedings when you are going, it's your title and abstract with the full length paper. This was the starting point, but this starting point can be rewritten and resubmitted with this full length paper. So that's the reason you focus not just on, okay, whatever mistakes are done or something, this is a learning platform, no issues about it. So but right now when you write the full paper, please focus and redo the things. And next, after your abstract is written, keywords are present, now the body of your paper. The body of the paper consists of your introduction, methods, results, discussion, and conclusion. It again depends upon whether you're doing a review paper or a research paper. Research paper, directly you will have the answers for this. Whereas if it is a review paper, in that case, I have to talk about what are the methods that are being followed by the various authors, and accordingly, what is that they have done, all that will decide, and accordingly, what is that inferences I can draw from it will be my results, and accordingly, I'll be projecting what is that further work can be done, or what is the conclusion I can draw from it. So, an introduction is about why. Okay, so what is the context for doing this work? How does it, when I'm talking about this particular problem, what is that I want to achieve from it? And with respect to it, you are given different themes. In when you are presenting the paper in this conference, you are given different themes, right? So, with respect to the themes, in which theme does this topic fit? If I'm doing this particular work, I should be able to justify as to which theme this paper is can be put across, and what is that exactly I want to do with respect to this paper. Is it just a review, or is it a starting point for me to do the further work? You might be in first year, second year, no matter. Or if you are in final year also, this will pay you a way as to how you can work further. So that is what forms your introduction. All this description will be forming your introduction. Why? Next, when I say methods, it is about answering about how. What did the authors do to answer the research question? Research question here is the problem statement that I am taking, or which is the theme area I am working in it. In the theme area, what exactly I want to do it? Is it that I have to carry out the synthesis of information? That is, synthesis is nothing but the collection of information. Or from the collection of information, I want to make my own path, come up with a new ideology, some novel option. So that is what first thing you have to have your research question. So based upon that research question, what is that work that has been carried out by the various researchers across the globe? You have to infer. So that forms your methods. So next, from that you have to draw your results. Okay, what was the answer to the various questions, and this results, whenever I'm talking about, it will be presented in tables and figures. Okay, so after that, from the tables and these figures, you try to draw your discussions. So results are what is that you have obtained. No, okay, you have obtained this. Usually in your lab also you draw some graphs, isn't it? So what is that you draw? It's just you draw it increasing curve, decreasing curve. That is not enough. You should be able to predict why there's a decreasing curve, why there's an increase in the curve. Okay. So with respect to it, why there's a variation. Sometimes the curves go up, move down suddenly. Why that peak value is occurring, why it is coming down. There is some significance for each one of it. So that why and what is that process that is being carried out should be the conclusions and discussions which should be carried out, and what could be the future work that can be done. So that is what forms your discussion and conclusion. And very important, because it's not like we are not doing everything rewriting on our own, but we try to take information from across various papers. So it's important to present the materials or information about from where you have taken that information. So that is being presented in the references. So this is about the structure of the paper. So before proceeding further, okay, let me show you about the structure of the paper. I hope it's visible. So with respect to it, the template that in which you have to use or submit your full length paper is the paper title, and this is what it is being said as the IEEE format. With respect to the IEEE format, you have to submit your paper. So you can see that the paper title should be in Times New Roman. The font size should be 24. Okay. So subtitles, if it is required, then only provide, but basically better to avoid the subtitles. And next, as you know, in the paper, you have to give the first name, the author's name, then the affiliation. If you are submitting the paper from Mufkamja College, don't write the short forms MJCET, or don't use the short form like Mufkamja College of Engineering, ampersand and technology. Use the full letters. Short forms should be avoided in your full length papers, be it in your organization affiliation or anything. Please avoid short forms. There should not be any abbreviations or short forms. Okay, abbreviations, short forms, you write it in the report writing, but not in a paper. Okay, so you have to give the complete affiliation, the name of the organization, okay, then city and country and email address. Already in the previous sessions, we have discussed what are the various orchids, coopers, and all that. I don't want to repeat the same thing. Okay. So after the authors, it's generally ideal to have only three authors, or better two authors, maximum four authors. But if you are having, okay, let me write six names, he is my friend, he is my friend, and you go on filling up, then you will lose the authenticity of your work. Okay, so it's advisable to keep only four authors, or maximum four authors. Okay, but beyond that, it's not suggestible until unless it's a very big research project or something like that. But as we are submitting a review paper, we expect that you'll be involving your two or three friends, not beyond that. Okay. So next, after that, you'll be writing your abstract. Okay. So the abstract, if it is in a full length paper, you can see it's in bold. That shows the importance. The abstract is the one, even for the paid papers, that the pay, you can see when you do a search, you will not be able to download the complete paper until unless you pay for it, and it's only the abstract that will be available for all the public across the globe. So the abstract is an important element, and you can see even in the paper it is being presented in bold. And then I have the keywords. So once these are presented, then I have the introduction. Okay, so the introduction should be with respect to the font, and all are also defined in the template. Like I'll be using the Times New Roman 10 numeral, excuse me. Okay, then it depends upon what type of paper you are presenting. So with respect to it, the content, the body will be varying. I'll have introduction, then methodology, or it can be a literature review. Okay, if it is a review paper, I'll have a literature review. Then after that, whatever, if it is a research paper, then I'll have some equations, mathematical formulations, and all that. Accordingly, I'll be presenting the forms. Okay, these are the various things. How do I present it and all that, and figures and tables. When it comes to the tables, it's important that the description of the table, the caption of the table should come above the table, irrespective of whether you're writing a conference paper or a journal paper. Throughout the world, the standard format is the table name should come above the table, whereas the description of the figure or the graph should come below the table. Okay, below the figure or the graph. Okay, so it's important where you provide the note also. So this should be followed strictly, and it's advisable even you have to be clear with respect to how you're giving the graphs. Usually if you draw the graphs in Excel or something, default point size of your graph will be 7, but when it comes to the publications in a paper, the the bullet size of or the size of the point should be 3 or 4, not 7, which is default value in your Excel. So all those minimum points, or I say minute points, should also be taken care if you want to have a standard format of publications. Okay. So next, coming to the inferences, okay, references that you provide. The references template should be in such a way that it should be giving you the author's name, title of the paper, okay, then in which journal or which proceedings they have been released, the volume, page numbers, the year of publication. So this is how it should be presented for any journal paper. In case if it is a textbook reference, in that case you have to write the author's name, textbook title, the publisher's name, okay, the edition of the publication, year of publication. So it depends upon whether you are referring to a text or with respect to a journal. Okay. So accordingly, you will be giving your bibliography, or you can say your references. So when this is how in this format you have to submit your full length paper. Let me show few papers so that I can discuss about how you have to have your literature review or writing of inferences in the literature review. These are the important aspects that you need to focus upon. Okay. So you can see this is a paper which is being presented. Okay. So you can see in this paper you have an abstract, and the way in which the inferences are made or the references are made is you are writing the author's name and the year of publication in the brackets. It again depends upon how you are giving the inferences. Whereas if there are many authors who are involved in the reference that you are taking, in that case the standard format is I have to use etc and all. Okay. So it's important that I use the format of etc and all, because that will help me that there are many more authors that are involved in writing this paper. So you can see that it's not, when I'm writing it is et with a spacing, no dot after a or al, there's a dot comma. Okay. So that means there are other authors also who are involved in this publication. So this is how you infer or refer to the various authors work. Okay. So if I'm talking about this paper, you can see it's a review paper itself. Okay. It's a systematic review of the benefits and risk of IoT adoption by organization. So in the introduction, what exactly is an IoT? You're describing that, but even that you are referred with some papers. So that is being referred in this format. It varies from one paper to other paper. So with respect to it, what is the adoption that has been occurring and the literature review that is being carried out by the various methods and all that, that has been presented in the paper in a systematic way. What are the benefits and all that? This is how you yourself, when you collect the information, can present it. Okay. So synthesis, what are the benefits and all that, you are trying to give that in a tabular form also. So this tabular form presentation should be there. All these are part of your complete paper. As you can see, if it is a table, the caption should come up, as I mentioned. Whereas if it is a figure, in that case, the caption will be coming below the figure. Okay. So if this is my figure, you can see the caption comes below the figure. And accordingly, the references, as I've discussed, it should be in this format that it should be presented. Another paper, you can see this is a piezoelectric smart structures that are being utilized. So in this case, you have a general abstract. As you can see, the format, you can see the names are given, their affiliations are given, then the abstract is being presented, then you have the keywords, then the introduction. After introduction, you start with the what are the techniques that are being utilized, and if it is a research work, then you will have the involvement of the equations. So in that case, if there are any equations, it's better to use the latex format. If you are not comfortable with the latex format, in that case, you can use your equation editor that is available in your Word format. Okay, Microsoft Word. So accordingly, all that description and everything, figures are being presented. Then you'll finally draw what are the conclusions that are there, what are the results that you have obtained. You try to discuss all those temperature effects and everything are being presented. Then the graphs, what is that you infer from the graphs, all this information is conveyed in the complete paper. And thereby I'll be writing my conclusions and what is the future work that is possible. So it's like you can see the what is that work you have drawn from techniques to write the equations of motions are the something, it's the conclusion of the paper. But what is the future scope of work is also presented, saying that researchers should try to model real life complex three-dimensional smart mechanical piezo structures. So this is something which they are telling other researchers to go ahead and do it. So that is also a part of your conclusion. And as I said, there will be references, how you're presenting and all that. Okay. So it varies from one journal to other journal, one paper to other paper. But in general, you write the author's name, then the title of the paper, then the journal name, then the volume or issue number, pages, year of publication. This is something which you need to follow. So after this is how you write the complete paper. Once the paper is written, the next thing you have to do is it's not just about writing the paper, but it's important how you present your things. Okay. Back to the presentation, as I said, after your paper is done, okay, you have done your paper, you have submitted your paper. The next step is you have to present your paper. So the paper presentation consists of three steps. One is planning, preparing, and delivering. Okay. So these steps look simple, but you have to understand the criticality of it. What is that involved in planning? So the key issues when I come to do the planning of the presentation, I should understand what is the objective. What exactly I want to present in my presentation. Is it that I'll be only focusing on the results, or is it that I'll be making the people understand from what was the past work and what is the present work that I'm presenting? You should have a clear idea about what exactly you want to do it and how much time you have. It's important that you have the time management done. And whenever you are doing a presentation during the planning phase itself, you need to plan, okay, and accordingly practice your presentation. Because if the presenter is giving you, or the conference people or the journal conference people are allocating you for 10 minutes, you plan that you give a presentation of 8 minutes with 2 minutes for questionnaires. So that is how you have to plan your presentation. Practice delivering your presentation before going for the final presentation. It's important that if without time management it's difficult to carry, because you want to deliver more things, you have more number of slides. In that case, the presenter or the chair whoever is chairing that session will be asking you to stop, you want to conclude, you want to say many things. That's a disturbance of your complete presentation. So it's important to plan how much time you have, accordingly what is that I want to cover. And in that time, you it's not that you'll be reading out your complete paper, or you just do a copy paste of your presentation, copy paste of your paper in the presentation. Always in the presentation, it's important that you follow 6 by 6 rule. Okay, when it comes to a conference presentation, what is the 6 by 6 rule is, there should be in a slide, there should be 6 sentences. In every sentence, you should have only 6 words. So this is your Dale Carnegie standard for the presentations. Okay. So what are the key points I have to have? It's not that you'll be writing the complete sentences in a conference presentation or any presentation, okay, seminar presentations and everything. It's always you have to have the phrases, not the complete sentences. And at the same time, you have to understand to which audience you are trying to address. Based upon that, you should understand how I should be able to impress the audience. How should I be able to sustain the attention throughout my presentation? And what is the best way to convey all the information that you want to that you have presented in the paper within the time? Is it the graphics or is it the text? Which is the best way? You should decide that. It's not that you'll put all the graphics in one slide or all the text and next slide all the graphics. No. You should understand the potential where the graphics should go, where there should be a text highlighted and all that. There should be a clear understanding and the slide should look pleasant, not that you'll dump many things in one thing. Okay. And at the same time, in the planning of the presentation itself, you should be able to predict what type of questions can be asked. Accordingly, to avoid, it's not that there are, you may be addressing a people of 100, but that does not mean that if you get 100 questions, you'll be given time to answer all the questions. So your presentation as such of your work should be such that you get minimal questions, one or two questions which are there, which you should be able to answer easily. So that's the reason your presentation should be such that your complete work that you have been presented in the paper is answered in a systematic, proper way. Next, now what are the how do I prepare for a presentation? When it comes to the preparation of your presentation, there are 5 important points that you need to keep in your mind. First is effective opening. It's better you start with some phrase or something which will try to take the attention of everyone. Okay, so there should be an effective opening. After your opening, it's not like uh, as you said, teacher enters the class. They start with an enthusiasm, and as they deliver the content, you lose the interest. So in the similar way, you have to start with an effective opening. After that, there should be a proper content selection, what exactly you want to talk, and it should be in a continuity. the content organization. Not that I'll discuss what is the work that is done by the authors and accordingly what is the conclusion. No, you have to talk about what is the various techniques or what are the methodologies or work carried out by various researchers and what are the results that they have drawn. Accordingly, what is that inferences you are getting from it? That is important. So content organization should be such that there should be a flow. You cannot have, even when you see a movie, the movie should be in continuity form, not that you'll be showing one scene here, other scene there, and all that. In that case, it will make the viewer lose the interest. And that too, as we are on the online platform, it's important to have the content organization in a very proper professional way. And most important is the visuals. What are that visuals you are using? What is that effective way you can present it? All that should be given in that. Okay, minimum visuals or the visuals which are catchy, which can help in understanding the topic, only there you utilize them. And most effective thing is effective closing, because how you conclude your things are the ones which are taken back by the people. Okay, you started with a good opening, you have given very good presentation and everything, but if your conclusion, because of your lack of your time management, you cannot conclude it properly, then it will leave a bad remark, isn't it? Because people will be observing what is that mistake you commit rather than all the 100 good things you do. So it's important that you have an effective closing. And last but not the least is delivery of your presentation. So when you are talking about it, when you write the paper, nobody sees what you're doing. But when you deliver a presentation, that gives an image for that particular person. So it's important that you have a proper voice and the energy level should be maintained same. Okay, in the starting, I'm very enthusiastic. I will be talking with a full energy level. And by the end of the session, if I lose it, my energy level, if it drops, that will let the other person also lose his interest. So the energy level has to be maintained. And your gestures. It's not that it's your voice you are delivering, but you should have your hand movements or your information conveyed. And while you're talking, there are different pauses that are required. I cannot go on, okay, I'm a fast speaker. I'll go on, nobody will be able to understand what I'm conveying. So, a sentence, comma, full stop, the grammar that you're writing in a written format has to be conveyed while you're doing a presentation. So, there should be a proper image with the pauses provided. At the same time, next step is you have to have a complete pace of it. That is, I should go with okay, next this proper planning, and I cannot go in a fast pace, neither I can go in a slow pace. A mediocre pace has to be maintained. And at the same time, the fluency in the target language. That is, if I'm trying to convey in to the audience who are English speaking, I have to have good English skills. If I'm targeting the audience are Hindi speaking, then in that case I should have fluency in English, the regional language also. Okay, so it's important that the delivery of the presentation is the one which creates your spoken image. Your paper might be the best, but if you cannot deliver the presentation, then it gives a wrong image, because that is the point. Okay, your paper is evaluated, your reviewer is accepting your paper, fine. Next, what is the next stage? How I do my presentation, accordingly I'll get some recognition. People should come back to you with your spoken image. So that is what forms your delivery of presentation. Okay. So last but not the least, as I said, this is a small act in which you can start writing a paper. So when you start writing paper, you say to your friends, okay, I'm doing this. That will help the other peoples also create that interest, and thereby we can have transformation of the world, wherein we can have more research which will be done for the benefit of the society. It's not that you acquire the knowledge, but how you convey the knowledge is also important. Okay, thank you one and all for your patience hearing. If there are any queries, you can post me the queries.